Finished day one with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Right.
How'd it go?
Went great, I thought. You know, his team liked it. His friends and family and his associates liked it. They thought it's what he needed. You know, I've been looking at the opponent, Fonfora, that he's fighting. He's a very good fighter. He's a big guy, tall. And you know, everyone's got their faults and everyone's got their foibles, and you know, I've been studying him, and we were trying to apply some of the things that Julio's going to need to do to be successful in this fight, and then we were instructing him as well as working very hard, but there was a lot of instruction. We were working on small things, a lot of technique, and then just kind of planting the seed about what type of game plan we're gonna have. We've talked in broad terms about how we're gonna what type of plan we're gonna use in this fight, and we touched on it today, but we'll get more in depth on that as we go along. But I thought it was a fantastic day. It was good and hot in here. He likes that. He likes to train in the evening. So with the heat blasting, he's going to lose the weight very quickly here. And he was a willing participant. He listened well and he worked very hard. And I think he enjoyed what went down today. So, all we got to do is keep doing it.
He told me that he met you as a kid, that he knew you. He said, "Oh, I know Joe since I was this tall." Tell me about that, meeting him the first time when he was like, what, 7, 8 years old?
Yeah. Well, no, he was probably around 10 or 11, and Omar was maybe 5, 6. And, I had some business with their father in San Diego where he lived, and it was a business deal we were working on. And, I was down there for a couple months straight, if not longer. And so, of course, the kids were always there. And I brought my kids as well. We used to have barbecues and, get-togethers and what have you. But surrounding it all was business. And eventually, after a couple months, we came to some agreements. And but during the course of those visits, which were seemingly every day, the kids were always running around the house, and they were great kids, and we of course, the father and the family, we got to know each other well, so that was a good experience, I guess, for the kids, because they still like me, so, I must have done something right.
Joe, how is it when you take on a new fighter? Is it a very fine line of what you want to change, or kind of leave some of what they do the same? How do you approach that to not change them too much, but change them enough to where they go to what you want them to do?
Well, look, it's no secret. I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez knows how to fight. And he does so many things quite well. But other fighters do things very well, too. And, it's not like I want to change anybody, but I want to add on to what he already does well. And then what he does do well, I want to make it even better. And, you always strive for perfection and precision. That will help you out in the long run. So, you combine that with hard work for your conditioning, your road work, your diet, and the amount of rounds you do, quality sparring. But then again, on the floor, you have to be able to instruct your guy, how to do things properly. And, if you've been around long enough and you're paying attention, you know what the good guys do. You know how the good guys avoid getting hurt, what keeps them in the game, what keeps them, alive through the fight. And you want to apply that knowledge to his style and say, look, you do that well, but we've got to tighten it up here, or we've got to, bring this punch in a little bit at a different angle. Sometimes you get into the small minutia. And fighters appreciate that, because sometimes it opens up their mind to saying, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to, the technicalities of what I do. Sometimes they just want to go out there and fight. But if you ingrain it in the gym and you go over and drill, you have to drill. It's like armies. They get good at fighting wars because they drill. And it's the same thing here. Football, baseball, basketball, they do their drills. And the drills aren't just, rote, running here or running there. They have to have a thought process behind it. And that's what we do here. And I think it'll pay off for him in the long run.
Joe, you probably know his strengths and his weaknesses just by looking at him. But one thing he has that people say you can't teach is a chin. He has a really good chin. Can you teach a chin, Joe? Is that something just fighters are born with?
Well, look, I mean, it's like saying, can you make a punch stronger? Some guys are born with power. Yes, they are. And some guys are born with fair power. Can you make that fair power better? Yes, you can. Can you strengthen a chin? Well, you can strengthen jaw muscles, neck muscles, so there are things you can do to, enhance the strength around that area. But ultimately, anybody can get hurt.